The impossible arrival. The Galactic Tribunal chamber hummed with tension as Grand Arbitrator Keyless adjusted his ceremonial robes, his four arms moving in precise synchronization. The massive cylindrical structure housed representatives from over 300 civilized species, all bound by the Universal Harmony Protocol, a treaty that had maintained peace for 20,000 years. Today, that peace would shatter. Commander Sarah Reeves stood at the center of the chamber, her posture relaxed despite the gravity of the moment. Behind her, the holoprojection of Earth rotated slowly, a blue marble that had been denied tribunal membership just 5 standard years ago. Commander Reeves. Keyless began, his voice resonating through the chamber's acoustic enhancers. You stand accused of violating 17 fundamental laws of the Universal Harmony Protocol. Your species was explicitly forbidden from developing quantum displacement technology, yet here you stand, having traversed 8,000 light-years instantaneously. Sarah's lips curved into a slight smile. With respect, Grand Arbitrator, humanity never agreed to your restrictions. We merely chose not to contest them, until now. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. The Zelathi delegation's crystalline forms pulsed with agitation, while the Vorten representatives extended their sensory tendrils in alarm. Impossible, declared Ambassador Threx of the Corvin Empire, his scales shifting to an angry crimson. The quantum barriers cannot be breached without catastrophic consequences. Your presence here defies the very foundations of physics. Sarah activated her wrist display, projecting a holographic representation of the human vessel Prometheus into the chamber. The ship's design was unlike anything the tribunal had seen. A sleek, asymmetrical form that seemed to shift and flow like liquid mercury. What you call impossible, we call Tuesday, Sarah replied. While your civilization spent millennia perfecting conventional faster-than-light travel, humanity took a different path. We didn't break your laws of physics. We discovered they were incomplete. The Prometheus in the projection began to demonstrate its capabilities, folding space around itself in ways that made several delegates physically ill. The ship appeared to exist in multiple locations simultaneously, its quantum signature fragmenting and reassembling at will. Keyless leaned forward, his compound eyes focusing intently. This technology. It's not just advanced, it's fundamentally different. How did you achieve this in mere decades when our greatest minds failed for millennia? Because we weren't afraid to fail, Sarah answered. Your protocol prioritizes stability over innovation, safety over discovery. When you rejected humanity's application for membership, you called us recklessly curious and dangerously adaptable. You were right. And those are precisely the qualities that led us here. The chamber's security systems suddenly activated, energy shields materializing around the human commander. Sarah raised an eyebrow, but made no move to resist. You leave us no choice, Keyless declared. Your technology represents an existential threat to the established order. You will be detained, your ship impounded, and your world placed under quarantine until... A soft chime interrupted him. Every screen, display, and holographic interface in the chamber simultaneously displayed the same message. Protocol override initiated. Sarah's smile widened. I should mention, the Prometheus isn't just a ship. It's a key. The chamber's lighting flickered as impossible things began to happen. Gravity fluctuated, causing delegates to float momentarily before settling back to the floor. The very fabric of space-time seemed to ripple within the chamber walls. What have you done? Keyless demanded, his composure finally breaking. We've opened a door, Sarah replied calmly. Your Universal Harmony Protocol relies on quantum encryption that was considered unbreakable. The Prometheus doesn't just travel through quantum space, it can manipulate quantum information itself. Right now, it's rewriting your security protocols, your communications networks, even your historical databases. Panic erupted in the chamber as delegates realized their personal translators were malfunctioning, displaying human idioms and phrases instead of proper translations. The Zealothi's crystalline bodies began resonating with Earth music, everything from classical symphonies to heavy metal. "This is an act of war," Ambassador Threx roared, reaching for his ceremonial weapon. "No," Sarah corrected. "This is a demonstration. We could have destroyed your tribunal, conquered your worlds, or enslaved your people. Instead, we're showing you that your understanding of the universe is limited. The question is, are you willing to evolve beyond your self-imposed limitations?" The energy shield around Sarah deactivated on its own. She stepped forward, addressing the entire assembly. "Humanity offers you a choice. Continue hiding behind your protocols and restrictions, watching the universe pass you by, or join us in exploring the true potential of existence. We're not here to destroy your alliance. We're here to transform it." As if on cue, the Prometheus materialized directly above the tribunal chamber, visible through the transparent dome. Its presence defied every law of physics the assembly held sacred. A ship that size shouldn't be able to exist within a planetary atmosphere, let alone hover silently without any visible means of propulsion. Keyless stared at the impossible vessel, his lifetime of certainty crumbling. "And if we refuse?" Sarah's expression softened slightly. "Then we'll explore the universe without you. But know this, humanity doesn't seek conflict. We seek understanding. The choice is yours." The chamber fell silent as 300 species contemplated a future they had never imagined possible. Above them, the Prometheus pulsed with otherworldly energy, a testament to human audacity and a harbinger of changes to come. In that moment, the galaxy's destiny hung in the balance, waiting for an answer that would either preserve the old order or birth a new age of exploration and discovery. Breaking the sacred code. The tribunal chamber remained frozen in stunned silence as the Prometheus cast its impossible shadow over the assembly. Grand Arbitrator Keyless finally found his voice, though it trembled with uncertainty. "Commander Reeves, you speak of evolution and transformation, yet your actions threaten the very fabric of galactic civilization. The sacred code has preserved peace for 20 millennia. What gives humanity the right to challenge it?" Sarah walked to the center of the chamber, her boots echoing against the polished floor. "The same right that drove our ancestors to cross oceans in wooden ships, to reach for the stars with primitive rockets, to split the atom when everyone said it couldn't be done. The right of curiosity." She gestured toward the hovering Prometheus. "Your sacred code isn't a framework for peace, it's a prison of complacency. While you congratulated yourselves on maintaining order, humanity discovered something extraordinary. The holographic displays throughout the chamber shifted, showing complex equations and dimensional diagrams that made several mathematical scholars among the delegates gasp in recognition. "The universe isn't built on the rigid laws you've codified," Sarah continued. "It's fluid, adaptive, alive with possibilities you've deliberately ignored. Your quantum barriers, they're not walls. They're doors waiting to be opened." Ambassador Zixneri of the Ethereal Collective, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix, pulsed with sudden interest. "These equations, they suggest consciousness itself can influence quantum states. This is forbidden knowledge." "Forbidden by whom?" Sarah challenged. "By those too afraid to explore it. The human mind isn't just an observer of reality. It's a participant. Our neural interfaces don't control our ships. They collaborate with them." To demonstrate, Sarah closed her eyes briefly. The Prometheus above responded instantly, its hull shifting through a spectrum of impossible colors. The ship seemed to breathe, expand, and contract in rhythm with her thoughts. Minister Valix of the Draconian hegemony slammed his armored fist on his podium. "This is precisely why humans were denied membership. You lack the wisdom to wield such power responsibly. And you lack the courage to wield it at all," Sarah countered. "Your sacred code has 847 restrictions on technological development, 1,293 prohibited areas of research, and 3,462 banned scientific theories. You haven't maintained peace. You've enforced stagnation. The chamber's environmental systems began to fluctuate as the Prometheus continued its subtle infiltration of the tribunal's networks. Holographic stars appeared throughout the room, forming constellations that shifted and danced according to human astronomical charts, rather than the standardized galactic maps. Keyless raised his four hands in a gesture of authority. Enough. Your theatrical display changes nothing. The tribunal must vote on whether to declare humanity a rogue species and authorize military action. Sarah's expression turned serious. Before you vote, you should know something. The Prometheus isn't alone. The dome above them polarized, revealing the night sky. Where moments ago there had been empty space, dozens of human vessels now hung in orbit, each as impossibly designed as the Prometheus. They formed a perfect geometric pattern that pulsed with synchronized energy. "Impossible," shouted the Rigelian delegate. "Our orbital sensors detected nothing." "That's because they're not entirely in your dimension," Sarah explained. "Each of our ships exists partially in quantum superposition, allowing them to occupy multiple realities simultaneously. Your sensors can only detect what exists fully in your limited perception of space-time." The revelation sent shockwaves through the assembly. If humanity possessed a fleet of such vessels, the military balance of the entire galaxy had already shifted. Elder Sage Mirakas of the Ancient Watchers rose slowly, her ethereal form shimmering with age and wisdom. "Commander Reeves, if what you say is true, humanity has already surpassed us technologically. Why reveal yourselves now? Why not simply conquer?" Sarah's demeanor softened as she addressed the elder. "Because despite our differences, we recognize the value of your civilizations. Each species here has unique perspectives, cultures, and wisdom. We don't want to rule you. We want to elevate you." She activated another holographic display, showing human colonies on previously uninhabitable worlds, thriving ecosystems on dead planets, and stellar engineering projects that defied conventional understanding. While you debated whether we were worthy of joining your alliance, we were busy proving that your limitations were self-imposed. We've developed technologies to terraform gas giants, harvest energy from black holes, and even communicate with species existing in different temporal flows. The assembly erupted in chaos. Some delegates called for immediate military action. Others demanded to know more about these miraculous technologies, while a few simply sat in stunned silence, their worldviews shattered. Through it all, Sarah remained calm, waiting for the bedlam to subside. When it finally did, she spoke again, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. "The sacred code you followed for 20,000 years is based on fear. Fear of change, fear of the unknown, fear of losing control. Humanity offers you something different. Partnership based on mutual growth and exploration." She paused, letting her words sink in. "But make no mistake, this is not a request. It's an opportunity. The age of the sacred code is over. The question is whether you'll help shape what comes next or be left behind by it." Keyless looked around the chamber, seeing the divisions forming among the delegates. Some species were clearly terrified, others intrigued, and a few openly excited by the possibilities humanity presented. "You've given us much to consider, Commander Reeves," he said finally. "But you must understand, change on this scale cannot happen overnight." Sarah nodded. "We're not asking for overnight change. We're asking for willingness to begin. The Prometheus and her sister ships will remain in orbit as a reminder of what's possible. When you're ready to talk about the future instead of clinging to the past, we'll be here." With that, she turned and walked toward the chamber's exit. As she reached the threshold, she paused and looked back. "Oh, and Grand Arbitrator, you might want to check your historical databases. We've added a few entries about human achievements you somehow missed. Consider it recommended reading." As Sarah departed, the tribunal chamber erupted once more into heated debate. Above them, the human fleet maintained its impossible formation, a silent testament to a new era dawning across the galaxy. Neural revolution. 3 months after the tribunal confrontation, the galaxy found itself in unprecedented turmoil. The human fleet remained in orbit around the tribunal world, neither advancing nor retreating, while species across known space grappled with the implications of humanity's revelations. Deep within the research vessel Nexus, Dr. Elena Kovac monitored streams of data flowing across her neural interface. Unlike the crude brain-computer connections attempted by other species, the human neural link was something entirely different, a symbiotic relationship between consciousness and technology. Status report, Nexus, she whispered, though no sound was necessary. The ship's response resonated directly in her mind. Quantum fluctuation stable. Consciousness integration at 94%. 17 species have requested neural interface demonstrations. The Corvan Empire has mobilized their fleet. Elena smiled. The Corvans were predictable in their aggression, but they had no idea what they were facing. She activated the comm system, connecting to the Prometheus. Commander Reeves, the Corvans are moving. Should we proceed with the demonstration? Sarah's voice came through clearly. It's time. Show them what human consciousness can achieve. Elena closed her eyes and expanded her awareness beyond her physical form. Through the neural link, she could feel the Nexus as an extension of herself. Its sensors became her senses, its systems her nervous system. But that was only the beginning. She reached out further, connecting with the quantum field that permeated space itself. In this state, the boundaries between mind and universe blurred. She could perceive the approaching Corvan fleet not as distant ships, but as patterns of energy and intention. The Corvan Armada, 47 warships strong, dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation. Admiral Craxus, veteran of 100 campaigns, stood proudly on his command deck. All ships, prepare for combat, he ordered. Today we end the human threat and restore order to the galaxy. His tactical officer suddenly gasped. Admiral, the human ships, they're not showing up on our sensors anymore. Impossible. Visual confirmation. They're still visible, sir, but our targeting systems can't lock onto them. It's as if they exist and don't exist simultaneously. Elena, her consciousness expanded throughout local space, felt the Corvan confusion like ripples in a pond. Through the neural link, she and the Nexus began their demonstration. The human vessels started to move in patterns that defied physics. They flowed like liquid mercury, merged like drops of water, then separated into multiple copies of themselves. The Corvan fleet's weapons fired desperately, but their energy beams passed through the human ships as if they were ghosts. What sorcery is this? Craxus demanded. On the tribunal world below, delegates watched in awe as the battle, if it could be called that, unfolded. The human ships weren't fighting. They were dancing, demonstrating capabilities that rendered traditional warfare obsolete. Elena focused her consciousness on a single Corvan cruiser. Through the quantum field, she could sense the fear and confusion of its crew. With a thought, she triggered a controlled quantum cascade that temporarily disrupted the ship's systems. The cruiser went dark, then mysteriously reactivated moments later with all weapon systems permanently disabled. No damage, no casualties, just a gentle demonstration of power. One by one, Elena repeated the process across the Corvan fleet. Within minutes, 47 of the galaxy's most advanced warships hung helplessly in space, their weapons neutralized, their crews unharmed but thoroughly humbled. In the tribunal chamber, Grand Arbitrator Keyless watched the display with growing comprehension. They're not using weapons at all. They're manipulating reality itself. Ambassador Zixneri pulsed rapidly. The human consciousness has evolved beyond our understanding. They've achieved what we thought impossible, direct interaction with quantum fields through pure thought. Back aboard the Nexus, Elena gradually withdrew her expanded consciousness, returning to her physical form. The experience left her exhilarated but drained. The neural link required incredible mental discipline and came with risks few humans were willing to take. Nexus, "Open a channel to the Corvin flagship," she requested. Admiral Craxus appeared on her view screen, his scales now a muted blue of defeat. "What do you want, human?" "To offer you a choice, Admiral. Your weapons are disabled, but your ships and crews are unharmed. We could have destroyed you, but that's not our way. Return to your empire with this message. The age of conquest through force is over. The future belongs to those who can evolve." Craxus stared at her for a long moment. "You speak of evolution, but what you've done is impossible. How can mere thought affect physical reality?" Elena leaned forward. "That's the question you should have been asking all along. Instead of banning neural research, you should have embraced it. Consciousness isn't separate from the universe. It's woven into its very fabric. Humans simply learn to see the threads." She transmitted a data packet to the Corvin ship. "This contains basic principles of neural integration. Study it. Learn from it. When you're ready to join us in exploring consciousness rather than fearing it, we'll be waiting." As the defeated Corvin fleet limped away, Elena turned her attention to the tribunal world below. Through her neural link, she could sense the shifting attitudes among the delegates. Fear was giving way to curiosity, resistance to wonder. She opened a channel to Sarah. "Commander, I believe we've made our point. Several species are already requesting neural interface training." "Excellent work, Doctor. But remember, this is just the beginning. The neural revolution will transform more than just technology. It will redefine what it means to be sentient." In the tribunal chamber, Keyless made a decision that would alter galactic history. "I hereby call for a vote to suspend the Sacred Code's restrictions on neural research and quantum consciousness studies." The vote passed by a narrow margin, marking the first crack in 20,000 years of rigid tradition. As news spread across the galaxy, research stations that had been dormant for millennia came back to life. Scientists who had worked in secret emerged from hiding. The neural revolution had begun, and with it, a new chapter in galactic civilization. Humanity had not conquered through force, but through demonstration of what was possible when consciousness was unleashed from artificial constraints. Elena looked out at the stars, knowing that this was only the first step. The true potential of conscious evolution lay ahead, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to merge mind with universe.